Welcome everyone. Good evening. This is Yangzhou Bian, and I am the co-host of the reading and the playwright of this play, Daddy and Un-Chinese Kid, from which we will be presenting a selected scene. Daddy and Un-Chinese Kid is a full-length play co-developed with New Jersey Play Lab, with the Nubian Egyptian American playwright/dramaturg Nabra Nelson and New Jersey-based producer-dramaturg Cheryl Cass, as well as our beloved Sandrine as contributors. This play is part of the 2025 Garden Stage New Play Festival. The play is the second in the trilogy, My Green Card Marriage. It may be approached as the succeeding play to the one that begins the whole series, Mommy, a Chinese Kid, and the preceding one to the to-be-written play, The Inamorata and Inamorato of an Alien. Or you can perceive this as an independent play. This play encourages non-race, ethnicity, gender-restrictive casting. The playwright reserves the right to veto the practice of yellow, white, black, red/colorful faces and gender swaps per case discernment. The whole play runs approximately 2 hours, and it has 2 acts and 10 scenes, with a cast size of 8 doubling over 40 major and minor roles. Okay, following is the synopsis of the play. I invite you to imagine it blasting out from a buoyant radio broadcast. Now, welcome to the play card Animal Mania play about the instability of identities hanging on the clothesline of how family damns and redeems us. Ming, an anti-relational psychotic alien, is pressured by her family to withdraw from school to be a traditional Chinese wife and baby mom. As apprentice playwright / Cispin comes up with a plethora of schemes to umbrella herself from the twister of matchmakings with the most outrageous candidates. The family suffers the loss of grandmama and the detention of her Brickerton Shakespearean parents in the outbreak of COVID. Yes, COVID. As everyone scratches towards a reassessment of themselves and the loved ones, the opposing sides turn into accomplices in the making of Ming's green card marriage. Through the thick and thin, Ming encounters her childhood trauma to counter its grasp on her Bian. And unbeknownst to all, Ming's severe Prince Polar Bear Charming is also a fellow theater student at the world's most renowned university, SUNY Brilliance. Okay, in the previous things, Ming pretends homosexuality to kind of sidestep her parents and family's pressing of her into marriage. And then she participates in grandmama's funeral ceremony through video call. During that time, Ming witnesses the COVID surveillance officer's brutality against her family in China. She decides that, as the only child of the generation who inherited the family name, the least she could do is to be married and have children as grandmama and her parents had wished. While Ming's family, which initially insisted on her retaining, realizes that for Ming to stay safe, she ought to remain in the United States. We, as a group here, we will be reading the scene 8. COVID testing and vaccination. Oh, my green card. Yes, the whole long thing is the title of this scene. In this portion, Ming is having a conversation with the parents who are now in the detention center for violating the pandemic no gathering regulations. And they are talking about having a green card marriage as a way to secure Ming's stay in the United States. This section spotlights the validity and absurdity of political and national identities. Now I'm going to introduce the cast with everybody's names, backgrounds, titles, as well as the characters. So first, Itzel, if you please unmute yourself and introduce yes, what do you do to everybody?
Hello, everyone. My name is Itzel Robles Valdez, and I'm a Mexican soprano. And today I'm playing Min.
Thank you, Itzel, and also congratulations on your achievements and graduation. Itzel will be reading Ming, a 26 years old international student from China, our mentally troubled and immensely talented anti-heroine, sent by her family to the United States to be fixed by those almighty Americans. And she will be narrating page 1 to page 3. Next, we welcome Sandrine.
Hello, and thank you for the welcome. I'm Sandrine Dupiton. I am multi-hyphenated. I think poet, dramaturg, and director is on the bio somewhere. I'm also an astrologer, amongst other things. So I am happy to be here and pleased to be a part of this work tonight. Thank you.
Sandrine was also the director or co-director of the first part of this play when we were having a stage reading in New Jersey the previous weeks. And she was fascinating, toggling the multiple tasks at that day. She will be reading Father, which is Ming's father, 55 to 56 years old, male Chinese businessman, a fervent Shakespeare fan, a compulsive conservative on Sex for Babies, and the most liberal and liberating thinker when it comes to anything else. Sandrine will also be performing Grandmama as Giraffe, a nurse practitioner from the United States, costumed as Giraffe. Next, we welcome Maya.
Hello, everyone. My name's Maya Patridge. I'm an actor and a teaching artist. I'm an American, Japanese, and Filipino maker of theater, and I will be playing Mother, Red Panda, and News Anchor.
Thank you, Maya. Mother is Ming's mother, nicknamed Tinkerbell, female Chinese housewife. She is a magnetic and majestic presence most of the time. She is more childish than a child. When mother adults up, however, she is the most and more of an adult than an adult can be. Mother is where Ming gets her strange mix of infantile innocence and mischievous masterfulness. Red Panda is a nurse practitioner in China, costumed as Red Panda. Maya will also be doubling as news anchor, the television broadcaster of Daily China that is airing the report on COVID origin to the whole country. Lastly, Maya will be narrating from page 4 to page 18. Next, we welcome Süheyla.
Hi, everyone. Have a great evening. I'm Süheyla. I'm a filmmaker and I'm a recent graduate from MFA Cinema Department in Binghamton University. Yeah. And I was an actor before filmmaker, so it is also cool to play Brown Bear and Black Bear today. And I will be narrating the later part of the play. And have a great night. Enjoy.
Süheyla is reading Ming's two aunts who are taken to the detention center with Ming's parents. Auntie 2, costumed as Black Bear, is Ming's second oldest aunt, female Chinese in her mid-50s. And Auntie 3, costumed as Brown Bear, is Ming's youngest aunt, female Chinese in her late 40s. This animal presentations is also a self-satire of the, air quote, barbaric Chinese. And she will be narrating from page 19 to page 23. Okay. I am Yangzhou Bian, a not quite so Chinesely Chinese writer/translator. I will be reading Auntie 1, Auntie Carmen, Ming's eldest aunt, Chinese in her late 60s, costumed as bald eagle and anti-immigrant American. And this is Polly, the polar bear. His full name is Dionysus the Brechton bear. He, him, his means stuffed animals, assistant, and imaginary friend. Polly does not speak, rather he pulls, prods, and play cards. Polly doubles as a graduate director. As with the title, the graduate director is a cleric PhD that runs the theater MA program at SUNY Brilliance. He doesn't have to be, but most likely is a male and certainly mid-aged up or above. And he is soundly professorly and properly academic. I will be sponsoring the voice of the graduate director along with this lovely bear avatar icon on the screen, which is speaking. Okay, this portion of the play is very dense with intertwined dialogues and juggling. It could be chaotically confusing, so as a precaution, I will put a link to the script to the chat. Please feel free to follow along if that is preferred or if you feel that might be helpful. Just in 1 second, copy link. Okay, and the chat. Type everybody paste. Go. Okay. Now I will read the title of the scene and itself feel free to start as you feel ready. Scene 8. COVID testing and vaccination. Oh, my green card.
America. Vaccination site. China Detention Center. On the American side are masked stuffed animals on movable table armchairs, separated by national flag or flag screams on wheels that continue onto national flag of China room dividers on the other side. Grandmama as giraffe, in American flag, scrubs and cap, administers a COVID vaccine to Auntie One as bald eagle, who wears an American flag as a kerchief. On the Chinese side are 3 chairs in front of a back screen of China Central Television, CCTV news broadcast, and a medical car to the side, sporting whistling. Auntie 2 as black bear, Auntie 3 as brown bear, and father in a crochet panda bear hat march on in identical inmate uniforms. They turn around and sit in a row, 6 feet apart. News program music. A giant globe spins onto the TV screen and pans out to the map of China.
Good evening, patriots. Good evening from Daily China. Breaking news. As the world is turned upside down by the pandemic, the Ministry of State Security has made astounding discoveries regarding the origins of SARS-CoV-2. The special investigation team reveals that all sources have pointed to
Bald eagle rolls up his sleeve to giraffe.
Doctor, I bet your life to death it was a goddamn bat. Those goddamn Chinese talked under their thumbs for years.
Yes, that is the Batman Project of the United States, a government-sponsored health to disease simulation that could be traced back for decades to...
It was all those hazmat-clad madcap yellow monkeys. They clumped those viral vampires under their armpits and sneaked the squeaky bloodsuckers out from the darkest cave of the steepest mountains.
The program was commissioned by top dogs of the White House, convoluted with the biotech fat cats to push through the ban on human genetic editing and forward its anti-species experiments from pre to pro hereditary modification through inserting vicious messenger RNA and vector protein that usurp the body's own cells to produce toxins.
No. Don't listen to those ravens raving about retribution or cuckoos coughing coincidence. All the goddamn straight talks of goddamn straight blocks. I tell you, Doc, we aviators see things out and clear and go around and ask around. Any seasonable turkey and decently dressed chicken will tell you this is a conspiracy, a complexity, a cunning connivance of the goddamn Chinese rats.
The many American brands of rapid antigen tests, also known as rats,
When touring through the seafood wholesale at the fish markets of port cities and transportation hubs to massage their contaminated snivel into frozen shrimps pre-ordered by the United States and its allies.
to overtake the global economy through a multi-trillion industry of COVID pharmaceutical and medical instrument exports that is made possible only by mandates of use and purchase at the cost of foreign money and foreign lives. And that's
That is
not
not
all.
This strain of animal to animal transmission was secretly developed in
After breaking through from animal to man, the strain from human to human infection was secretly transported to Wuhan under the cover of international aid packages and collaborative initiatives. It targets the innocent and intelligent Chinese as an initial trial to the United States multiracial elimination plan. But apparently, They failed.
No, hear me, dog. The ice broke before shipping, and phew, the Chinese got it all topsy-turvy. To the word's luck, we've got those goddamn Canadian geese. They can never keep their pats on. They've got to date and mate with those goddamn Mandarin ducks, and then blow their sneeze over to those, oh my god, goddamn Times Square pigeons, swan song of those pigeon brands. Once they get it, it goes pretty much to the word's end. Obviously, fools always succeed. Those goddamn chimps.
Black bear and brown bear at the television, then at the American side.
Those goddamned Americans, you armadillocans, enough is enough.
Bald eagle yanks the room dividers away.
You chipmunks, this is more than enough.
Father springs up, points the handheld Chinese flag at a bald eagle.
He is a liar, not us. Nothing of that kind. COVID? We Chinese can't be that advanced. Pinching, yes. Infringement, of course. But we draw the line at serious things. We plagiarize, we boulderize, but we Chinese don't break ground in science. With our dumb government and dubious researchers, COVID could never be communist.
Shut the goddamn up, you chihuahua.
Receives the shot from giraffe and falls into the chair. Black bear and brown bear close in on father.
Wait.
Mother, as a red panda in a Chinese flag, water uniform and mask, sprouts out of nowhere and pokes nasopharyngeal swabs into black bear and brown bear's nostrils.
Test time!
Next.
Bear, wearing the placard, Je m'appelle Davy, pulls Min in. Min wears a placard, graduate student, holding her laptop that is connecting to a Zoom meeting. Min turns to leave. Bear pushes her back. Repeat.
Polly, we singularly can't miss this. It is the 100 Ways of Being Out of Humor, a seminar of the Shakespearean in body and spirit. There is too much fun. We have to learn to... Polly, you got to understand. The graduate director is not all sanguine. We are copying with a choleric PhD, and the question of to be or not to be there. Absences hurt. Attendances is a command, not a recommendation. Polly, listen. Hamlet flunked because his introspection paper was not in on time, and everyone knew he was dying the death of the family. If we don't show our face, we'd be thrown out of the program with black vials on our...
Bear marches in with Min's laptop.
Not press the push. Come, Polly. Come here. Come back. Come on.
She fakes fainting.
I have chest, muscle, joint pain, a stomach fever, and stubborn chills. The fatigue is getting worse, and I am going to vomit. Please.
She reaches for the laptop as Bear comes close.
A goddamn Chinese!
Bear pushes Min forward. Min bows the 90-degree bow.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
As Min rises, Bear tears off the front of Min's placard. Now it reads, Japanese.
I'd say she looks more Korean.
Min tears off the page. It now reads, mixed.
You goddamn immigrant!
Giraffe slams another shot onto his arm.
Doc, what the...
Yabusa.
Bear and Min press their faces together, arms forming a heart over their heads, placarding newly/wed. Bald Eagle turns around. Bald Eagle smacks his wing against Bear's paw.
Oh, congrats, bro. Goddamn. Americans own Asia, and owning an Asia with all that going, you are goddamn brave.
He smashes Bear down on the chair.
Look, I owe you one. Here. Hey, where's my goddamn kerchief?
Min slinks under the American flag snaffled from Bald Eagle toward a movable scrim and slides it in front of her as a cover. She moves backwards and bumps into Father, who is hiding/backward gliding a movable screen.
Ah!
All turn around. Father and Min spring the scrim and screen together and swing behind inside the sanctuary. The writing on the combined surfaces reads Greater/China.
Heavens!
How on earth?
as the inferno implodes, to sidestep their accountability and to shoulder their way to answerability to the internal and international crisis.
Students, turn off your background noise.
The United States and its pussy press put out fishy fables and flounders that we Chinese.
God, get the Ameripelicans.
Excuse me? To hell with your chicken-picked chameleons. When I am speaking,
After you, you ape-assed alpacarican. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth.
what the... a polar bear is on the loose!
Fist fight. Father and Min secure the scrim and screen flung by and upgrade the defense with acquired panels. As they finish, it now reads America/greater/China/greatest. Min is taken aback by Father's inmate uniform.
Serious?
As serious can be. The whole family is in.
Black Bear as Auntie 2 and Brown Bear as Auntie 3 cling to the side of the panel and wave at Min.
And Auntie Carmen?
She is sent to the infirmary. They discern she is too...
Bald Eagle and Auntie 1 are seen wrestling with a stuffed animal.
I'll teach you a lesson.
They will learn, and you!
Min tosses the American flag over the scrim screen.
A passing by souvenir.
Who the heck?
What an update.
Min tosses the WED placard over the scrim screen.
Oh, mistakenly took from a passerby.
Bear presents Min with her laptop.
Hey, those alias doctor, you've got to put an end for these unidentified flyers.
Giraffe sticks her neck over the scrim screen. Father and Min huddle together behind the laptop display. Virtual. Giraffe withdraws.
Do you like it there?
I am disliked as a person.
Mad Americans.
As a person, not a mad person. Mad they must be.
They all are. That is beyond doubt. There you are only about
average. I miss home.
There is no home to return to. We Chinese are far beyond mad.
Do you have a moment?
I thought you were in class.
Min shows Father the laptop, which now displays suspended. Bear puts a sign over the scrim screen. Marriage, tutoring, consultation. The background clashes and crashes are occasionally seen/heard.
I am thinking about getting married.
I thought you did.
Or I will have to win a Nobel.
You should marry the Oscars.
That. Aren't you against marriages based on a green card?
This depends.
How so?
Would you lie?
I am not going to.
By force?
Do I have to?
Will you cheat?
Divorce first.
Then what's against it?
I am not wanted.
I understand.
I am not talking about people.
As long as it's people.
I was not born in America.
America was not America in the time of Shakespeare.
But marriage is about love. And I am not in love. All I care about is a green card.
So?
But aren't marriages out of love? Shouldn't the man and wife be a loving couple?
Prophet, a loving couple may not start as a loving couple, and the ones that do may not stay loving or as a couple.
But isn't that with you and Mom?
No couple is born a couple. Couples aren't always loving, and being in love does not necessarily coincide with being a couple.
But you were in love with Mom.
On occasion, she wishes me gone, and at times I wish myself undone. Either way, you have to be born and born with.
You can't be serious about this. If what is between you two is not love, then love is way out of being possible.
There is love and couples love. You take breaks from love to be a couple.
It is more durable to love when far apart than together with mutual disgust. Shakespeare can love. I'll just do the couple part.
Shakespeare is how you come to love.
But Lady Macbeth,
Let go, you mad day murderers of moron. I'm not a she, her.
I am not a she, her pronoun.
We marry and marry into who we are.
Broadway murder in broad daylight.
God be with the vein of Cotter.
We may or may not sow what we are seeking, but what we have is what we will have to
Fuck off.
Fuck off.
or be
Fucking freaking.
committed to.
There is stumbling and tumbling.
Fool.
Passion is the Occidental Ophelia of robbed Rosaline and destroyed Desdemona, which does not last. That's why Romeo and Juliet could not be put together, nor should Antony and Cleopatra be left to couple up, prenuptially consumed in fire and fervor with accountability, long combusted before the avowals could be carried forward. Sorry to say, Shakespeare has all the more tragic partnered and paired, save the shrew and the shrew.
The shoe and screw. She got him clown and he got her cow.
They earned and learned to be with one another. She could have him crooked and he could have had her croaked. But they bawled and brawled it out from mayhem to
Master and slave.
yes, to master and slave. That is what a man is to his wife in married life.
This is Madhouse Madcap. Those two weren't even familiar.
Were any born familiar with another? When two believe they do, they take all they ought to know and all there is to know for granted. Yet knowledge is seldom guaranteed, more so love.
Then anyone could walk away with any other.
One way or another.
But what about irreconcilable feuds and incorrigible faults, insurmountable flaws and incorrigible frauds? You certainly can turn a man-eater and train him into a spouse.
You don the other with yourself and tie-dye the danglers.
But not all rounds make a circle. There are surely squares that are unmatchable and unpatchable to the turns.
You adapt the pattern and adjust the measurements.
Could we switch from sewing?
Giraffe enters with a shot.
It is your turn. You will have to.
Min volunteers father's arm.
Oh! Stay.
Min retrieves the shot from father and tosses it over.
Needle and I do not agree. Never did, never will.
For Satan.
Father reaches for the handheld Chinese flag.
But you'd better pick.
Min hurls the flag over.
Put down your arm.
For Spangled Banner, we're not in Star Wars, you goddamn spoilers.
All madness can happen, bro. What are you expecting? This is COVID.
That. The file and the syringe have to go together.
You ought to. Don't mind.
Father nurses his arm.
At times, men could also use some care.
The unsure and unsortable just do not travel in pairs.
The incompatibles are either not trying or not striving enough to survive and thrive in the relationship. Being together is work. When both are working and walking toward the other, all that's in the way is either negotiable or negligible. Oh.
That is, if one is looking to go where the other stands.
Or upward to a broadening view on the shared ground.
I'll pass.
You'll surmount and surpass, onward towards the summit on a widening path.
In dreams.
in diligence.
But what about blocked roots and locked horns?
You hold hands and shoulder the little ones.
I am calling roadside assistance.
You will guide the tours.
Group dismissed.
You shall be missed.
I am bringing the daycare.
They will be running your welfare.
That's not on my chart.
You are to play your part.
This is giving me a start.
Parenting is indeed an art. Puppet, the ones that are never apart fall apart. The oars drift away and the shipwrecks break the boat up. Swimming to the lighthouse on the other shore, many end up thousands of miles from those who were once their pole star.
Core stars and crossed stars.
Puppet, though severance is not usually looked up to, shifts ought not to be looked down upon. As waves wash away the cast up, a fresh skyline rises along with each dawning sun.
But how does one know when to go and what is to come?
The fun is that no one knows. Whichever, there will be ups and downs and upside down.
With all those inconveniences, who would rather turn around and run around?
Merry-go-round could be a change for one's riding the Ferris wheel for too long.
Bridges are entrances to not exist.
In a way, you are not wrong. There used to be a trillionaire from our town. One day, he called all his sons and made them swear not to marry. In exchange, the boys were granted freedom to get in and out of relationships as they pleased. Their father, the trillionaire, took those babies and mistresses under his wings, treating them no less than legitimate heirs and in-laws with profuse provisions in all respects.
Why would he do that? He must have had too much quicksilver to swallow.
It came to be so, for the arrangement secured and safeguarded the interest of all. The trillionaire would not have to worry about scheming girls stealing his money and savaging his sons. The sons would not have to be wounded by the dubiousness of these women's longing or loyalty. The girlfriends would not have to pull out their hair or poke one another's eyes, baiting and biting for the title and entitlement of the wife. And the children would have a prestigious education and premier care regardless of their parents. The townspeople indulged it. The government would do whatever for lavish investment and donations.
A sacrilege to the sacred arts. That is what I see.
I thought so too as a boy. I could not comprehend or consent.
But now you do?
A wise man knows that what others are after and what he wishes to have, no other proposals could be more forthright and forthcoming about property and proximities.
But that would be unfair to the sons who sincerely wanted to wed.
The illusion of love is not for the son of a trillionaire. One born into such riches will always be suspended in the suspicion of whether he was cherished for his person or possessions.
There are surely sons and daughters of other trillionaires. Their shared standing in wealth should have resolved their shared woes.
Even if that son was in a relationship with another trillionaire, he'd always wonder about that something behind and beyond what the other seeks and sees. All benefited and were better off this way.
But those were sons, not bastards. That is to say, they were the children of the wife or wives of the trillionaire.
The trillionaire's father was a common man, not a trillionaire.
The way he thinks is far from common.
That's why he's a trillionaire.
That. Why are you telling me this?
You ought to know your options.
Bear pokes his head in with a pile of books. Min swaddles Bear in and waltzes.
I am all in for a trillionaire. And the money and the moment to do whatever and be whoever in the words and out of the worlds of Shakespeare. I will make names and be famous, Tony, Pulitzer, and Oscar instead of filling baby bib and diapers. And it would be such a comfort.
She releases Bear.
That I am not the family type. I don't think.
Puppet, you are too used to being by yourself. Your mom and I, we shouldn't have left when you...
Bear, spinning with an armful of books, waddles towards father.
I have my hands full with a bear.
Father tugs Bear away.
Min, you are 26, not 6.
Let him go!
Puppet, Polly is not,
A moment. Father puts
Huh.
Bear's paw in Min's hand.
Don't please let him.
he will always be your Brechtian bear.
Bear nods and paws his chest.
The self and the family do not have to.
Mom!
Tinker... Sorry.
Father sprints to mother and hugs her.
Tinkerbell! How's your temperature? Chills, fever, fatigue, nausea? What about the chest muscle joint pain?
It is watching.
Min and Bear cover their eyes.
But how did you get here?
I bit the watchman in the ward.
You beat up the watchman?
Bite.
Tinkerbell, mouthwash.
Muppet!
Min holds Bear in front.
Partner for life or partner for crime? I am getting married this month.
Bear nods, shuddering.
What about the trillionaire?
Oh, she's got her father, a ready ATM that runs 24 hours a day and on weekends.
Min nods, repeated.
Tinkerbell, what do you say?
I say, as long as there are babies.
Min nods,
baby?
nods, then.
What babies?
Still, Muppet, you ought to go with the rich and the riches. The poor man comes after you because he has no other but you to fool with. The rich man comes to you because among the many others, there could not be one but you.
When you and Dad engaged, he didn't even have a bank account.
No, you've got to spend a man's money, or he'll have no incentive to make more.
Dad, how come you...
Your mom is the fairest of a fairy tale.
Your dad, too. Muppet, eye candy is an asset.
Learn from your mom.
And an eye crash is as likely to cheat.
Never.
If you dare, Muppet, males are made imposters. It would be a lot longer and a lot harder to get over being turned over by one that is less than slightly unsightly.
Father glances at Bear.
Puppet's taste is a teeny weeny.
Muppet, aren't we?
Min hides Bear behind her.
All there, all clear. That is the most handsome, toothsome, eyesome man creature that ever stood on planet Earth. I will take none but whom resembles him.
Father and Bear look at one another. Mom scoops up Bear.
Mom, I am engaged.
Mother drops Bear. Bear sneaks away.
With whom?
My professor?
A shame, a scandal, a sin.
Do you believe her?
Of course not. I was only... Puppet, how is he? I mean, how old is he? How do you know if it is him?
Min collects the books and her laptop.
The amount of time I spent thinking of his words, working out his thoughts, wondering about what's going on in class and what's going to be on the quiz.
That's indeed quite involved.
I'll tell you.
Father to Min.
I feel you.
They nail you.
Min opens the laptop. A hello message pops up.
Class reassemble. I reported the polar bear to the police for trespassing on the college's intellectual premises. Whoever is keeping it is not in keeping with the university rules and class rubrics, and you will be...
Mother flings the laptop shut.
Americans are too much for us Chinese.
Min is not much of a Chinese to start with. She and her American dreams. She can't be left with...
Or as Chinese.
Scary whistling sound.
That is, it takes a lot.
Father takes off the crochet panda bear head and puts it on Min.
She will miss being Chinese.
Daddy, no!
Puppet, it's time.
Mother and father turn to leave.
Papa, Mama.
Scarring whistling sound.
Tinkerbell?
Please.
Mother swings the nasopharyngeal swab as if a fairy's wand, magical sprinkles and sparkles.
Pixie dust.
Please stay.
The parents disappear as Min dozes off.
The end of this thing. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. And a round of applause to the cast, please. Yes, thank you. First, I would just pose this as a question to everyone in the audience. If you would like to, you can turn on your video or audio or just type in the chat that if you what are the things that you find most challenging about this play, and also what is most interesting in this part. I understand there is a lot to navigating through with all these doubles and yes, and the animals going around. Yeah, thank you, please. If you want to do that in the chat, that will be very, very helpful for us to further cope through this section of the play. And now we are going to kind of have a brief discussion on the identity part and also experience part of how it contributes to our experience. And I would like to pose this question to the cast, since everyone is not cast 100% fit as who you are in the daily life to the character or to the role. And how do you feel your background as who you are kind of contribute to or contradicts what the role is? And if I may, like Maya, if you can share something about this, thank you.
Yes, yeah, I'd be happy to. Yeah, as I said earlier, I'm an actor, but I'm also a teaching artist. I teach all ages, but I mostly work with young kids, anywhere from ages 2 to 8, typically. And I teach theater and acting and music. As Yao has said, Min's imaginary world that we're living in is quite childlike. She has an imaginary friend still, and her mother's also, quite a, childlike character in moments. So I found that my experience as a teaching artist working with kids was really helpful in just kind of jumping in and being playful and big. So that was a lot of fun. So thanks, yeah.
And also, I want to ask Süheyla, how do you feel like your background as a filmmaker either adds to or kind of bring you to a different lens of how you approach the character of the black bear and brown bear?
As a filmmaker, you have a sense of like putting the characters in a bigger story, like what this character serves on a bigger scale. And my last film was about a bird and human relationships. So having a relation with an animal, like playing in an animal, was not too far from me in terms of trying to see the world through a bird's perspective for 2 years. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And also in terms of being international, I'm from Turkey, so it was very resonating, the conflicts between, you know, parents and kids and all this main theme. The emotion was very resonating with me as an international. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much for sharing this, because I personally have conflicted feelings about having people of different identities, especially cultural and national identities, playing the Chinese characters, because I feel there are definitely some cultural specific elements in our identities that definitely needs a lot more analysis, if not like study, to get to understand it. But I also feel we are doing quite an amazing job as we did with the staged reading in New Jersey. That is also a multi kind of racial and multi whatever presentation cast to perform this, like supposedly Chinese aunties and Chinese parents. I I want to ask, how do you guys feel like coming from a different cultural background approaching this? And are you constantly remind yourself like you are playing a Chinese person, or you just gradually let go of it and let the kind of more basic human connections lead the acting and presentation? Sandrine, if you may share something.
Sure, absolutely. Definitely am not an actor. So I wish I had some kind of something else to pull from, but I think what makes this sort of resonant is that, yeah, it's a human story, right? So I'm a first generation American. My family, both parents are from Haiti. Um, they got here in the 70s, so not too long ago. And there is a dynamic and a storyline that sort of undergirds the story of being an American and becoming one over time. And then I can understand, as a daughter of these kinds of parents, what it's like to sort of have this burden of trying to become American, and each one of us having different definitions of what that means and what it looks like. So I think my sort of emphasis in trying to navigate and understand what's going on in the scene, because there is a lot going on, is just the understanding and the resonance of the being American is a complicated issue to begin with.
Mm.
So I think that's what I connected to.
Thank you, Sandrine. And Itzel, would you also share something from your perspective?
Of course, yeah. Thank you so much for this invitation. It's always very, very fun to collaborate with you. I really like your work, and it it's like you need to be open to play and imagine and try different things. You can read your words in very different ways, so you need to play with the music of the words. You know what I mean? So it's very fun to imagine how your character is, what the author wants, what you want to uh, add to your interpretation, and to build the story. So yeah, I really enjoy this. And yeah, I feel connected because I'm an international student as well. So I try to remember that I was playing a Chinese character, but it wasn't possible for me just to unattach my personal story, you know. So yeah, that was kind of the process of it. Playing, lot of playing, lot of try different things, and like building an scenario, my own scenario here.
I do feel you brought up a very important concept about play and playfulness or being playful. I personally feel identity is a very complex idea to approach because we don't just have one identity as like a student, as a daughter, or as a like mother, as a friend, as a bear, whatsoever. We are juggling with all these kind of descriptors that we give us. It can certainly be helpful when we are referring it as something that we are constantly thinking about, but we are not just every single one of it, whether being a female or being a minor or being an elder slash. And this kind of complex like an experience also reminds us maybe we are not as set or as stable as a person individual because of this constantly changing like roles we need to play, and also constantly changing perspectives we are having regarding this play. Even going to a broader concept of what does it mean by being American, or coming to like embrace the Americanness as well as Chineseness or Mexicanness or Turkishness or Filipiness or Japaneseness, etc., etc., etc. It is not something that people from 20 years ago, 200 years ago would have the same perspective as, even though we are like from the same country, or supposedly we should be like sharing the same culture, tradition, or region, because culture itself is also changing. And if we are just so very kind of subscribe to a certain idea of it, first, it may not be the accurate description of the certain thing we are looking at, and also it is not very helpful while we are juggling with a plethora of things. We need to be constantly thinking about rooming in and out and change. It's certainly a very mad experience for me, like toggling with the many roles, like, oh my God, I'm like doing this play cards, and then there is a bear going on, and I'm like, okay, I have a kerchief. And then, yes, and then I imagine it's kind of a similar way for you guys with, oh my God, this is crazy. But because of this craziness, it adds to the energy and fun of our life, because we're not like programmed computer things or cells that you can expect it us to act in a certain way. We continue to surprise ourselves as well as others. Just like one that I really like from Father, which is like, if we take knowledge for granted, then you are literally foregoing the chance and opportunities to the things you ought to know and the things that is to know about both yourself and other people. So I feel like even with people who you stayed a long period of time with, or you ought to know them, like parents and children, you still want to be open to the possibilities that they and yourself might surprise you at and on many things, onward and upward. So those are my thoughts regarding the whole thing.
I have a thought.
Sure.
I think to that end, I'd like to add, I think, so I'm an astrologer, but I do Jyotish astrology. So astrology from the East, the sidereal system is different from Western. And it's not necessarily something you might assume upon meeting me, right? But I think what's interesting in the studying of the light and the energy and the celestial bodies is, I don't know everyone's familiarity with astrology, so I'll try to keep this very brief and succinct. Um, there are there's a zodiac and there are houses, right? And there's 4 signs that are ruled by Mars and Venus. Okay, the first house, the second house. First house Aries, second house Venus. Aries, second house Taurus. Let's see, 7th house is Libra, and 8th house is Scorpio. Classic astrology. Mars and Venus, Venus and Mars, right? So the idea is these 2 planets are usually associated with men and women, right? Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. The same can be said that Mars rules the self and Venus rules or is related to family. But these 2 planets are 6 signs apart from each other and 8 signs apart from each other if you count on a system, on a zodiac. And the idea is that it's unstable. Any number that's any planet that's 6 or 8 from another planet or from itself represents this instability. So I think it's interesting the planet that governs identity and relationships are both in these sort of unstable, awkward positioning to each other, even in the sky, right? So I think with that, if you believe in it or whatever, but it is like sort of an archetypal roadmap of we are beginning from a place of change. I mean, I can go further in my little nerd rabbit hole here, but I think fundamentally, I think it speaks to this idea of all these complex moving parts. It is by its very nature how we human, I think. So yeah.
And that is the very fun of relating relationships and even being a human. My parents really say, when I ask them, why do you argue? They say, if we are perfectly loving without any clashes or crashes throughout this many decades, that would be so boring. So, yeah. And we are about time. And thank you, everybody, for coming and for joining this lovely presentation. You certainly added a lot with your presence and contributions.